Hello and welcome to another Vant trading video. This one's going to be another trading platform review, and this one is on ETrade, more specifically the ETrade desktop app that you can trade from on your computer. So, we'll be going over some of the basics, the general themes and flow of the platform, some of the things we like, some of the things we don't like, and, keep in mind that every platform has things it does very well. Every platform has things it does not do well at all. It all depends on what you are looking for to fit your trading plan and your trading style. You may look at a platform and think it is the answer to all your prayers, while another trader may think it is a piece of garbage. But it doesn't matter. It's all opinion-based, and beauty is in the eyes of the beholder when it comes to trading platforms in some, to some degree. So we're going to be going over ETrade, kind of seeing what's under the hood and talking about some of the features and kind of giving you a general idea of, what you'd be using this platform for and how you can use it. You're still going to need to do your own research afterwards, but this should hopefully get you started on the path. First of all, who is ETrade good for? Well, it can be decent for some, regular day traders. We know some very successful day traders. There are some successful day traders with their own websites out there that used ETrade for a long time. But generally, you may see them with some more medium to larger size accounts that need a reliable firm for their business or retirement funds. But we do know day traders that use ETrade as well. They've got some halfway decent systems in place. There are just some things that they're lacking to make them that much better for a day trader. Let's dive into it. Their fees and commission structure isn't the best, to be honest. It starts at $6.95 a trade, which is on the higher end. It's like Thinkorswim, where you're trading paying about $14 to get in and out of a position. But if you do more than 30 trades in a quarter, which means you're even semi-active, because 30 trades in a quarter is not much at all, then it drops to $4.95 a trade, which is not bad. In terms of fixed per trade, that is on the lower end. However, we do not really see any per share commission structures that would be super beneficial for a day trader or someone who's more active. Now, it's not going to be breaking your bank, but, before you invest and decide to trade with any platform, you should heavily look into their fees, their costs, and their commission structures, and kind of map out what the average month would cost you to make sure that you're not going to be shooting yourself in the foot, at least when you're starting out, and especially if you're a new trader. So they've got a okay fee and commission structure. It's probably one of the lower ends in terms of for day traders and active traders. But if you're a long-term trader and you don't put on that many trades in a day and you just kind of have swings over a couple days or maybe even a couple weeks or months, this may be a decent platform for you. This isn't going to be something that discounts you because they've got a pretty low per trade structure. In terms of account types that you may see, you'll see a lot of brokerage, retirement type accounts. There's some small business retirement accounts and managed portfolios. ETrade's actually pretty good with a lot of these. So, this may be good if you're like a small trading business almost, or you have a retirement account that you want to manage yourself. In terms of the account minimum, stock is only $500 and margin's only $2,000. It's pretty low. You really shouldn't be opening an account to trade with if you have anything less than that anyway. The margin's going to be your standard 4-to-1 overnight and 4-to-1 intraday and 2-to-1 overnight. So in terms of account minimums and account types, it's good. It's an A+ from us, not bad. It's not going to be any barriers to entry there. They have a fairly advanced and powerful mobile platform and app. You can use it like you're using a desktop. You can stream charts, quotes, even options chains. You can trade from it. You can add technical studies and indicators. You can manage your positions pretty nicely. It's good in terms of mobile apps come. In terms of promotions, that's going to vary per day. They do some things where if you put in X amount of dollars, then they give you X amount extra money, just in your pocket. Or they may give you some commission-free trades for X amount of days. Those are the things that you're going to be looking for. Those are the majority of the promotions out there in this space anyway. Their customer support is okay. It's decent. It's kind of your typical brokerage customer service. It's not above and beyond anything. They can have some long wait times. There are more well-known firms, so you would expect them to have long wait times. It can be annoying to try to get a hold of them sometimes, especially if it's during market hours. But, no platform really has super fast customer service. More frustratingly, we've had run-ins where, or we've also known traders who have had run-ins where they've been unable to trade a certain ticker, and then it's taken them several calls to figure out why, because one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing, and there isn't always a lot of easy communication between their branches, like their trading desk and their customer service, so you may get redirected a couple times. It's not the end of the world. These brokerage platforms tend to not have the best customer service. It's not terrible. It's not something to drive you away from the platform. It's just our average impression whenever we call them. In terms of hotkeys, it has some limitations, but don't discount it, because there's actually, you can do some things with it. And just we're, cutting off top of this page here. You can't see quite the top of the platform, just so you don't see some account information. But overall, we're going to dive into some of the hotkeys here just to kind of give you a look at what they look like. Speed keys, you can set up a lot. You can edit. So let's actually create a new one. You can do the speed key pretty easily. You can decide whether it's placing a stock order, option order. You can save orders. You can cancel orders. You can have it do some specific things, like if you want it to buy, X amount of shares. Let's say just bid. It can bid, plus you can tell it, how much higher than the best bid or the best ask you want it to buy. Again, these things can be very finicky, and it can have some issues. Like, you can tell it to buy 5 cents above the ask, but you can't tell it to buy 5 cents below the bid. It's very weird. It almost feels like it was an oversight on their part, and we've reached out to them about it, and they admit that it's weird that they can't do that. So there's some odd limitations. It's not by any means the flashiest of platform hotkeys out there. But you know what? It can get the job done for a lot of you traders, some people who don't need anything crazy. You can't really route specifically. But you can set up a couple different methods if you want to have some fast entries. And they also have a halfway decent order entry window like you see here, where you can put in all the details yourself, and you can buy, sell, short, or cover. So it's not the worst. In terms of locating shares, holy hell, it's bad. I mean, if you are going to trade something that requires you to locate shares or a low float, and you were thinking about using ETrade, don't. Honestly, it can be very difficult and annoying for hard-to-borrow stocks. Look, it's not gonna, crush you, but you're going to experience more frustrations here. So if everything else for ETrade is at A+ in your book, maybe look into it a little more. But we don't like it. A pop-up shows when you try to buy something. If say you want to locate shares on something, you need to first try to put that order in, and then a pop-up will tell you, how much it would cost, and then it takes about 15 minutes for it to find the shares. So, you can try to call them in the morning and find out if a stock is hard to borrow or not, but they can't reserve shares for you ahead of time. So it's very lacking if you need speed in terms of seeing these low floats or these hard to borrow stocks, and you need those shares ahead of time. It's a very niche thing that would be difficult for you, and it's only if you're trading these small price stocks that are hard to borrow. If it's another stock and you've got some time to get the shares and you aren't really worried about it, you can probably work around it. It's just, it can be very difficult for you if you're trading those stocks. So it's definitely one of the worst in the industry in terms of that. And, calling them can always have some wait time. So then you're going to have to wait for that. So, keep that in mind. Ease of entering positions, it's not terrible, You can move around, and you can put in order entries, and you can put in different things and really shift around and get in pretty easily with your prices, especially with some of the hotkeys and stuff. It's not going to be the best, but that's just because they don't have all of these crazy hotkeys and all of these fancy order entry. It's definitely not the worst, though. You can put trades based on your account positions and your watch lists and things like that. In terms of charting, it's fine. It's fine. You know, honestly, if you look at this platform, you may see some similarities or some stylistic similarities with things like Interactive Brokers and maybe even TradeStation to some degree. And, you know, we'd agree with you. There's definitely some similarities. You know, it's pretty easy if you customize these time frames up here to shift between them. You know, that's not bad. You can put some studies on there. Put like MACD, things like that. You know, if the charts are small like this, it can kind of be hard to, you know, read them. You know, kind of make it hard to navigate the charts, but it's not the worst, you know. You can create different pages down here dedicated to charts, news and events, options, you know, whatever you want. So it's kind of flexible in terms of that. You can also drag some of these things off these pages, you know, if you want to do that. But the charts, they're okay. You know, they've got some halfway, they do everything, you know, adequately and halfway decent. It is very visually pleasing to look at, this platform in general. It's, you know, pretty user-friendly. So if you don't want these crazy intricate things that you almost feel like you're coding if you're trying to just put the platform together, you know, maybe this is more for you. It does the job. News services, they do have news services. You know, they can be halfway decent. If we just click on this tools here, you can see some of the things they have. You know, they have all the different order entries and windows, some options chains, a lot of the, you know, usual stuff. They've got some pre-made things like high and low. It'll tell you when things are making new highs and new lows. You can see time and sales, and you can see news. And then you can type in the stock ticker and check out the specific news. So look, let's just go to the news and events page here. You know, you can see, you know, some of the top symbols in terms of searching and in terms of news pieces about them. You can see some of the calendar stuff like earnings calendars and things like that. So it does have some halfway decent news services. They do have an API system. Not the best. Not the best. You know, it's not the worst. And the fact that they do have an API and automated trading system is great. It's just, you know, sometimes, you know, you can do it through Excel and you can link Excel through it and have your Excel strategy trade, which is actually really cool. But the times that we've tried to do it, it crashes if it gets too crazy and complex, and it can be kind of slow. So, you know, it's not fully ironed out. But if you can figure it out, or if you know how to code in Java, PHP, or C++, you actually could do some things on here, and you have some options, which is always nice to have. So you can try, you know, some automated trading or some automated strategies, things like that. They do not have a trading simulator, which is interesting. They do not have a paper trading account. You know, not all trading platforms do, but, you know, if you were a new trader, it would have been nice to have, and it'd be a nice little practice thing. But as far as we can tell, they don't have that, so you kind of need to play it by ear and, you know, master the platform before you get used to it. And again, you know, this is like a prettier, less intricate version of Interactive Brokers. You know, they've got some different features and some different positives and benefits, but, you know, they organize your layout by these sheets that you then can move across monitors. They've got all the basic obvious level 2 time and sales and level 1 and your order entry. So it's actually not a bad platform. It's got a lot of the things that you would need as a trader, whether you're a day trader or a swing trader. It's just there are a couple areas that they stumble, a couple areas that they're not the best, and it's just going to need a little bit of further diligence and further inspection from you. You know, how much are you going to use the API, and what kind of API, you know, or what kind of coding are you going to be doing? You know, what do you think about the customer service, and how important is that to you? What about locating the shares? You know, those are some of the things you're going to want to look into. The cost structure is something you're going to want to look into. But in terms of ETrade, this is kind of the general look and the kind of general gist of what you're going to get. And if this looks like something that, you know, is going to be suitable for you, especially if you're a long-term or swing trader, this may be the platform for you. You know, it's just going to take a little bit more research and due diligence from you. I thank you for tuning in. I hope this was a help. And I know that, you know, we only scratched the surface on some of these platforms and what they offer. You know, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And good luck and safe trading out there.